All right, folks, how you doing? Don't really want to do this one, but I did say I would react to the reunion with Jimmy and Chelsea and Dr. Kirk. So let's just get on with it.
Micah,
Oh my god.
what's up?
Yeah, I wanted to
Who the fuck is Micah, by the way? I can't even remember.
get involved. Okay. Okay, mine's for Jimmy. What did your friend think about Chelsea sharing
Oh, I remember this one for one of the previous seasons.
your little secret with the world?
Wow, they are going for the jugular. There's
Little secret with the world.
so many times when I'm watching the show by
Oh, no, Micah's also a narcissist, by the way.
the end, and I'm like, why did they ask this person about that? So, Jimmy doesn't look happy with that question.
I wouldn't look too chuffed either, to be perfectly honest.
So, yeah,
Well, Jimmy needs to grow his hair out as well as having a beard. He would look so much better with longer hair.
I imagine Jimmy will give a diplomatic answer. He has to
Oh, of course he will. He's a normal. He's not going to sound like a prat.
consider, yeah, like if he was free to answer, he might really express anger at Chelsea.
Well, he already looks kind of pissed.
She's sitting right there, it's being recorded, so I'm guessing he's not going to go full in that direction. I think what could he say? It's kind of a fun game to play. What could he say that would ride the line? I think he could say, well, I understand where Chelsea was coming from. I understand how it would feel like a threat. I'll tell you, it's not a threat. We're just friends. And
You can't be friends with somebody like Chelsea. Get the fuck out of here.
everyone that knows us knows that. It's more like a sister and brother.
No, it's not like a sister. You didn't shag your sister. Unless you're a Lannister or a Targaryen, you don't fucking shag your sister. You shouldn't do it anyway, even if you are.
Relationship, but there's nothing there. And regarding what Chelsea did, when you're in fights, you say stuff that you regret later.
No. Not if you're a narcissist, you don't. Because remember what narcissism is: assertion of control. Normals and empaths might regret things that they say, but narcissists, no.
She apologized for it later, or I'm guessing
No, Chelsea never apologized, at least not sincerely.
she would. So I'm just moving on. That's not my style of response, but I can imagine Jimmy saying something like that.
She didn't deserve that, and she didn't love hearing it. She was there for me as a friend and someone that loved me, someone that wanted to support me. I've got a ton of dude friends in my life, but when I'm talking to guys, I'm not getting emotional with the fellas. Like,
Yeah, damn right you don't get emotional with the fellas.
all the girls.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm glad he at least has that outlet. Yeah, he's saying, with my guy friends, I can't be emotional. I can't be human. I can't talk about anything of any depth.
No, they don't want. Oh, no, you don't want them to take the absolute piss out of you for the rest of your life. Listen, I've got one or two confidants who, I've shared things with in confidence, people that I trust. But generally speaking, when you're out with the guys at the pub, you don't start breaking down and crying and making an arse of yourself. You know what I mean? You always have like one or two friends who you can confide in. I mean, don't get me wrong, but as a man, you're not meant to make a big fucking blubbering emotional display.
And so now,
That's not to say you don't have confidants. One or two confidants who you share things with, who you really do trust and you can confide in. You should have that, and sometimes that is necessary. But you don't like go out for a night on the town and start blubbering and crying like a little bitch. Oh, I miss her so much. Oh my god, I wish she'd come back. There is such a thing as dignity. You know what I mean? And as a man, you're supposed to hold frame and hold dignity. Oh my god, I can't believe she left me. I mean, that is humiliation. That's a loss of dignity. There is such a thing as integrity. As the great John Lear says, live your life with integrity without envy, fear, hate, or greed. Part of that integrity is you keep your shit together.
I have guy friends, or really friends of any gender, that I also don't go into deep things with because we just don't have that vibe. But he's saying that he does have that with her, with this friend. Okay.
getting ahead of myself, but I told you out of confidence. And they felt, one of them is really pissed off at me for mentioning it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because Jimmy made a mistake that he couldn't have foreseen. He trusted a narcissist with secrets. And whenever you tell narcissists anything, they hold it over your head like the sword of Damocles. They never forget anything because a creature retains that memory. And whenever you do anything to threaten or control them, bring it up and hold it over your head.
I
But Jimmy didn't know that, you know.
told her about them in the pods. I was very forward. It was also, she had an ex-boyfriend that she still hangs out with. She
I
mentioned
don't hang out with him.
Denial, assertion of control.
Interesting. He's not being very diplomatic.
Now, why the fuck would he fucking be? Chelsea fucking embarrassed them in front of the whole world.
I thought by now, a year later, he'd be more diplomatic.
Well, fuck that. No, Chelsea doesn't deserve anything.
But it is interesting that he's saying that the woman, the friend, is pretty upset.
Huh?
But
Quite right. I'd be fucking upset and all. But I would be upset with Chelsea. Women stick together because women are communally orientated, men are individually orientated. There is that difference between the sexes. You know, it's just part of our evolution. It's just part of our psychology. Women always stand up for each other, even if they fucking despise each other. You never, ever, ever criticize any woman in front of any other woman because they will, by default setting, stand up for them and round on you.
which he predicted, and upset at Jimmy for even telling Chelsea, which
No woman ever agrees with any man who criticizes another woman, even if they fucking despise them. The women stick together.
yeah, but I get it that Jimmy would want, because if I were Chelsea, I would want to be told that. I wouldn't want to, because I think what he's thinking is, look, I have a lot of friends and I have some women friends. And I know Chelsea can get insecure, or at the very least might. And so
Chelsea can get insecure. Can get insecure. Fucking understatement from what we've seen.
I want to, as soon as I can, tell Chelsea, because at that point, Jimmy's pretty sure he's going to marry Chelsea.
No, he was never going to marry her. He was just looking for an out the whole time.
I want to,
But he wanted to extricate himself in a way that doesn't make him look bad because the cameras are on him. And social media is a thing, and it's full of narcissists and empaths who are influenced by narcissists, and they don't want the whole fucking world turning on him and chewing him out.
introduce her right away so that there's no questions, and I can't be accused of withholding that later.
See, that would have been fine if he was dealing with a normal or an empath, or maybe even somebody who's narcissistic, but not with a narcissist. Because remember, always narcissists operate with the victim mentality, always, and everything goes through their distortion field. All right, paranoia, assertion of control. I'm always the victim, especially the lower cognitive function ones like Chelsea. You tell them anything that they can hold over your head, and believe me, they fucking will.
Because I'm sure Jimmy
She would have been bringing that up forever.
wasn't like enthusiastic about that meeting, because that was one of the only friend meetings, if not the only friend meeting that Chelsea had with his friends. So he's probably thinking, so I want to be the responsible person with integrity. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with her. And
Never, ever tell narcissists anything that they can hold over your head.
can tell her things in confidence. She's not going to out me. She's going to protect this, and I'm going to introduce her, and I'm going to tell her, because if I don't tell her now and I tell Chelsea some point in the future, well, I could be accused.
But why would they have to tell her at all? Does Chelsea have to tell Jimmy about all of her lovers that she had in the past? Why does it go only one way? Be very careful that you vet who and what you are talking to before you reveal things.
Legitimately of lying by omission this whole time, and that could be really hurtful to her. It's like, wait, so I met that woman and I was nice to her, and all this the whole time, like, am I some sort of chump? That could happen. So he told her, and then Chelsea just betrayed that trust, and she could have said that off camera. They could have continued fighting off camera, right? But
Plus, Chelsea got steaming every night. She got absolutely plastered. She got pissed every single fucking night. And, Chelsea, I don't know if she still is, probably, because alcohol is a fuel substitute, but according to HG Tudor, but she was an alcoholic at that time. Well, one of the things about alcohol is it causes bloating. And she looks to be about the same size. Alcohol is a substitution for fuel. That's one of the reasons why Chelsea's always at the fucking booze all the time. That's another indicator of a narcissist.
She didn't. I don't think she was under.
And she's not drinking beer like I drink. She's drinking fucking spirits and wine and shit like that. So she's getting absolutely fucking hammered.
I don't think she had herself under control. I don't think she had any control over anything that was happening.
Well, he's kind of right, but in a way that he doesn't realise, because it was the creature that was in control, as is always the case with a narcissist, especially a lower functioning one like Chelsea. Plus the fact she was absolutely pissed
in that moment regarding what she was feeling and doing. Not that lets her off the hook exactly, but
to be honest, but I hated all this came out so bad, and I can take it. They didn't deserve it. Is the main way.
Again, he's showing emotional empathy because he's a normal. He's expressing emotional empathy towards his friends who Chelsea betrayed. Again, how come the friends are not mad at Chelsea? Don't ever criticize any woman in front of any other woman, except for very rare exceptions. They will turn on you.
But I would be robbing her if I didn't tell her. I told her because I was planning to get married to her, and
No, he's not. No, he wasn't.
She needed to know every bit of me.
I get that.
He's only saying that because the fucking cameras are there. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah. Just imagine that, like you're all in, and that again points towards the legitimacy of his love and dedication. I don't think many people would question that, but he was illegitimately on the show. Why would he tell her that detail? It was completely irrelevant, but it is relevant if you plan on marrying her and spend the rest of your life with her. And
no, this is where Dr. Kirk, like I say, he reads things literally, not between the lines.
Might occasionally run into her.
For sure.
I'm curious.
I look at Micah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, I got my. Oh god, I see like fucking Micah. I can't fucking stand them.
Rest of you, how do you feel about this situation of Jimmy sharing a secret with Chelsea and her sharing that secret on camera?
Golly, they just are unrelenting. I think it's fair.
I'll tell you what, you could never put me on a show like this because I would be a fucking flamethrower. I would just burn everybody. I'm a bit of a hothead sometimes, and I don't hold back when you get under my skin. I'll just fucking let you have it. I could never be on this show because I would get absolutely eviscerated on social media. Because at some point, if I was dealing with somebody like Chelsea, an absolute headache, I would never have been as patient as Jimmy. Even though I'm the same sub-school, normal, but I've less emotional empathy than Jimmy does, I would say. I would have rounded on Chelsea a lot quicker, and I would have said to the producers, not happening.
And it's what the audience, I mean, I would ask Chelsea, I wouldn't ask the rest of the people. I would ask Chelsea, give her a chance at least to apologize. I don't
Good luck with that. If she did, it would be facade management.
know.
Who thinks that a secret shared in confidence shouldn't have been repeated on camera?
I mean,
Yeah, they should all have their hands up, but like I said, the women won't raise their hands because of the sisterhood, and the men won't raise their hands because they have to deal with the women, and it's not worth the argument on the way home. And it's also not worth sleeping on the couch that night. Understand female nature. Women stick together. They operate collectively. They think collectively.
they're asking, I hate how on this show things fall down gender lines around this sort of thing.
Yeah, well, they do. So, get over it.
And I don't know if we saw hardly anybody raise their hand, even including the guy.
Who thinks that a secret shared in
Of course, every hand should be up, but like I said, the sisterhood sticks together.
confidence shouldn't have been repeated on camera?
Yeah.
And I notice even Nick's not raised his hand because Vanessa's sitting next to him.
I only see
When made equal to men, women become superior. I think it was Socrates said that. Remember that line. That's a very good line. When women are made equal to men, they become their superiors.
Him, Jeremy raising his hand, no one.
You've seen an example of it right here. No one is raising their hand. Even Nick never raised his hand fully.
Everyone else is like, yeah, it's, or I don't know. What? No, they should all be raising their hand. It's obvious.
Yeah, but again, this is Dr. Kirk showing his empath credentials, because empaths, they think emotionally, idealistically, what should be, what could be. You know, they live in la la land. They see the whole world through rose-tinted spectacles. That's why they're so naive and so susceptible to being ensnared by narcissists and fooled by them.
It was some sort of nefarious thing that Jimmy has a history of dating and having sex with people.
I mean, fucking shocking, right? Imagine that.
And one of those people is a friend of his. Who cares?
Yeah.
Maybe don't say the bean dip thing. That was in confidence too. So
Say the what?
That's interesting. So he's even getting out ahead of any sort of hypocrite accusation, because he's like, I don't think she should have said that. And I shouldn't have said, because it was a very similar thing that I did to Laura. It was given a chance to complete that idea. I think what Clay was saying is, I understand. He's saying, I'm going to give Chelsea some grace because I understand how charged that situation was. And sometimes you do things that you regret later.
But I also get, I'm gonna give Chelsea some grace. It's an emotional experience, and
I think that also if it was
I think
something that was
a lack of boundary recognition, sense of entitlement. I'm the center of the fucking universe. This is typical narcissism. I'm assuming this is Micah who interrupted. Sounds like it.
affecting her and affecting their relationship, then she has to
Yeah, I was right. How did I know that?
show it. I'm sure a lot of her comments back to him were coming from a place of hurt from that information.
I mean, I don't know why I care what Micah would say. It's not
I don't fucking know either. I don't give a fuck what Micah thinks either.
like she's this wise old, relationship expert. But I feel like
It's not very often that I got to give Dr. Kirk a round of applause. I'll give him a round of applause on that one.
I just want to rewind this.
experience. And
I think that also if it was something that was affecting her and affecting their relationship, then she has to show it. I'm sure a lot
Let's
of
go to babble as well.
her comments back to him and feelings back to him were coming from a place of hurt from that information.
If it's affecting her, she has to say it. No, she doesn't. That's ridiculous. Behind closed doors, in front of the camera, no. She doesn't have to say it. It's not a compulsion. It's not a rule. It's not a law.
100%. It's our
It's actually quite funny watching narcissists stick up for each other. Oh dear. It does happen sometimes. It does happen. If it's to their mutual benefit, they will.
real life relationship. That was a huge issue and it was really sitting on me. And I apologize more than and I couldn't
Oh yeah, you really look like apologetic, rolling your eyes and looking all shifty and uncomfortable. Oh, that looks like a sincere apology.
never apologize enough for how horrible I feel for bringing it up and ruining that trust.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, but it's not sincere. Does that look like a sincere face? And look at Jimmy. Does Jimmy look like he's buying it?
That's all we needed. Jimmy.
No. It would have been all we needed if she was sincere. But she's not. You can tell. It's just assertion of control. She's just trying to squirm out of it. She doesn't look comfortable. And Jimmy doesn't look like he's buying it. Quite right, because he knows her.
Me and Chelsea. So, okay. Everyone else, I don't understand. Jeremy's the only one that I agree with, really.
Because it ruined everything. And it was just a
Look at Jimmy, man. Oh, he looks so fed up.
true issue that I just couldn't get off my chest. And it coming out was just, I forget about the cameras. I didn't even realize the cameras were there. It was
Yeah,
It's a bit hard not to notice a big fucking camera in your room, and a film crew.
believe that, one, the emotional charge of it all. I mean, she didn't forget, I'm sure, but the
No, it was assertion of control. It was a creature asserting control because Jimmy was extremely difficult to control, being a normal and not an empath. In fact, impossible to control, as it would turn out.
Cameras are there so often that you just stop editing yourself. Also,
No, it's because she was pissed and all. Remember, she was with the booze all the time.
there was alcohol involved,
Right,
I
see?
believe, in that one, right? Maybe all three. And then
Maybe all three. Obviously.
three of the big fights they had. And then also talking to my contact on the show, the way she talks about how they try to create a situation, a couple, the more they will disclose, right? Which I guess did happen.
It was just a huge argument that just blew up, and I'm really sorry.
Yeah, we've talked about it 100 times at this point, and we even tried
See what I mean? We've talked about it 100 times at this point. She keeps fucking bringing it up. Narcissists let nothing go.
to work through it.
Yeah, that's good.
No, it would be if they were both normals. It would be if narcissism wasn't a thing, but it is. And Chelsea is one.
Did they date?
This is where Dr. Kirk falls short.
Well, I saw that one TikTok, right, where someone saw them in a restaurant together. So they could have been just friends, but we've talked about it 100 times. It sounds like they probably did date.
Ultimately, she has feelings. It made her feel a certain type of way, and she has the right to speak up on that. She's not in the wrong for saying it, but I just didn't love the fashion how it came up.
Me neither, my guy. Me.
And he is, at this point, just trying to placate because he does not want to hear Chelsea fucking screaming the place down for the 300th time. He's just trying to get out of it. Oh, man.
Me neither. That was awful.
Good. That was great. He was assertive.
Come on, Jimmy, what the fuck are you still doing hanging around Chelsea?
I predicted this diplomatic response, but you could argue that doesn't allow for him to speak his piece, and he did. And then that's a thing.
Well, that's good. At least he didn't avoid. But look at how furious Jimmy is. He wants to say a whole lot more that he can't because the cameras are there. You can see that, can't you? Being a normal, having emotional empathy, part of him wants to hold back. What's the expression? Drag her. He wants to drag the fuck out of her. But he can't do that in front of the cameras, in front of social media, and in front of all the sisterhood.
And then she is not making excuses. I thought she would, but she's not. That's great. And you believe her, right? Because the way
No.
she's not saying I take full responsibility.
Good luck getting. You have to put a fucking gun to a narcissist's head to get them to say that.
You hear it in her. Sincerity is something you can't really put your finger on, but
Yeah, it is. Are you dealing with a narcissist or not? Pretty simple.
when you see it, you see it, and that's
No, again, empaths, like I said, they walk around seeing everything in the most sunny, optimistic, rose-tinted way possible.
in the realm
If this ain't proof of it, please do tell me what the fuck is.
of believability, because she's like, me neither, my guy. Me neither. That was awful.
And he's going to pay for that later, by the way.
Verbatim.
Why she's not doing it now? Facade management. If Jimmy pushed her just a little bit, it wouldn't take much.
Said a different way,
But, it's better than that.
neither, my guy. You feel the regret and the remorse.
No, it's passive aggressive. She's going to take it out on him later.
And the understanding of the transgression. That's an apology. You notice there's nothing in here that says, I am sorry. But within this is a real apology.
Jimmy, looking back on that, do you think that was a defining moment in your guys' relationship together?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can see it in my eyes when I'm speaking. Everything after that we were kind of going through the motions.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. What does H.G. Tudor say? Once you know, you go.
I wonder if that's
And that was the moment for Jimmy.
entirely true. I could see how he would really key in on that because it's a very stark event to point to that there really isn't any excuse for. And in reality, it was a number of things that were happening, right? But those things are harder to put your finger on and say that was wrong that she did. Right. I mean, that's got to be it, because I can't imagine if everything was fine and then she did that. But you could also imagine that would really loom large, and you could draw some conclusions and some, because it's like, wait, so you're capable of that? I trusted you. We talked about you not telling anyone about that, and I was vulnerable. I laid it on. I didn't have to.
If you are ever vulnerable with a narcissist of any sub-school, any cadre, any description whatsoever, you might as well just paint a big sign on your back, a big target that says, stab here.
It's understood, right, that this was a pretty vulnerable thing, and there's someone else involved, that you're capable of doing that. It says a lot about what you're capable of, and or the way she was saying it, why she was saying it,
Because she's a narcissist.
could be very, very hurtful, and you could, any last flame could be snuffed out in that moment.
And
Yeah.
it's easy to see in hindsight what was the right decision, and the right decision would have been for me to let you go at that point. But I drug it on partially because we loved each other so much.
Because the fucking cameras were there and I would have been dragged through social media. And the sisterhood would have come after me with everything I had.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Briefer than what most people do. People will stay in that state that Jimmy was in for years.
Yep, narcissists and empaths.
And I don't even blame them, because it's hard.
Jimmy's a normal. That's why I didn't stick it. That's why I did not stay. That's why I left. Once you know, you go.
To know if it's the right time or it's normal to avoid. I don't recommend it. Plus, you don't necessarily know for sure. You're like, well, maybe, I don't want to do anything in haste. Let's give it gave it a week, and then he baited her and then broke up with her.
I'm curious to hear from everybody else up here, because you guys all got to watch their story kind of unfold in real time, but then watching it back and seeing more
Look at Jimmy Squirm was like, fucking hell. I can't get out of this yet. I still have to fucking answer for this shit.
of what happened behind closed doors, did it change your perception of them as a couple?
Wait, so does the audience have to sign an NDA because they're being revealed what ends up happening? And this happened before the
I just think we'll just leave it there. Anyway. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Dr. Kirky did a lot better on that one than he has previously. But there we go. Let me know your thoughts and comments below, as always. See you later.